Not all of them, some of them though.
Jim Jones was never better than Nas. Jim Jones will never be better than Nas. And this is coming from somebody that's not a Nas fan. I love Dipset. I love the Diplomats. I love Bird Gang. But we not about to start rewriting history because Jim Jones got confidence.
The internet went into a frenzy once again, and this time Jim Jones found himself at the center of the storm. It all started when he appeared on Club Shay Shay and threw subtle shade at one of hip-hop's all-time greats, NAS, that's right. During his conversation with Shannon Sharpe, Jim got a little too relaxed and ended up making comments that ignited a heated reaction across the culture. It wasn't a diss track or a battle verse, just casual remarks, but the disrespect was enough to draw 50 Cent into the mix, publicly roasting him. Here's how it unfolded. Jim Jones was talking with Shannon Sharpe about his career, his impact, and his place in New York's rap scene. Things started off pretty standard, the usual "I'm a legend too" type of talk, until NAS's name came up. That's when Jim dropped the line that sent shockwaves through the room. "Ain't nobody in the streets playing NAS like that anymore." Shannon tried to keep it professional, but the expression on his face said it all, like, "Bro, what did you just say?"
Recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
Yeah, that's my young boy.
big
right there.
hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god.
In my
The movie Belly is like.
And that was all it took. Within minutes of the interview going live, social media erupted. Fans flooded the comments, calling Jim delusional and saying things like, "Bro, you can't disrespect Nas, the man who gave us Illmatic, Stillmatic, and King's Disease." Many labeled Jim as a jealous rapper, unable to watch true legends age with respect. But the situation really blew up once 50 Cent caught wind of it. You know 50, he never misses an opportunity to stir the pot, especially when Jim Jones is involved. Within hours, he reposted the clip on Instagram with the caption, "Look at this goofy talking slick about Nas like he one of them. Boy, you out your lane." That post alone racked up over 500,000 views in a matter of hours, and the comments were savage. Fans were cracking up, saying 50 was back on his bully behavior and warning Jim not to respond this time. What made it hit even harder is that 50 and Jim share history. Their tension stretches back to the early 2000s during the Dipset vs. G-Unit era, when New York rap revolved around dominance and street respect. 50 had been waiting for a moment like this, and Jim unknowingly handed it to him on a silver platter. By targeting Nas, Jim gave 50 the perfect opening to remind everyone that not only is Nas untouchable, but Jim has been chasing validation for years.
And God, honestly, I can't, like, if it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. He was so nice. He was so nice about him. How did you do that? What's the first sentence? What the fuck do you write about him? I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss record. Like, I'm like, yo, used to have so nervous was like B.I.G., Pop, right? Even Cannabis, like Eminem, he'd have you like, if we go at it, dog, we gotta go hard. You know what I'm saying? But these Jim Jones, like, I respect you getting your money. You're like, exactly, right?
Let's keep it 100. What Jim said wasn't just bold, it came off straight up tone deaf. Nas isn't some old school rapper sitting back. He's a living legend still out working half the game today. In recent years, Nas dropped King's Disease 1, 2, 3, and Magic, all packed with lyrical fire, grown man wisdom, and Grammy-winning recognition, earning respect across generations. Meanwhile, Jim was out here talking about who's hot in the streets. Fans were quick to call him out. "Bro, you can't compare mixtape relevance to legacy." Even Shannon Sharpe looked a little uncomfortable. You could tell he wasn't trying to roast Jim, but his body language said it all. He gave that "you serious right now?" stare while attempting to pivot the conversation. But Jim kept pressing. He said, "I'm just being honest. The young ones ain't listening to Nas. That's facts." And just like that, the fuse was lit. See, Nas doesn't need to be trending to prove himself. His legacy speaks for itself. He's one of the rare rappers who commands respect across generations without chasing social media clout. And that's why the internet immediately turned on Jim. Fans dragged him, calling him insecure and accusing him of trying to tear down other artists just to boost his own relevance.
Yeah, Jimmy boy, you should have never brought this up. Y'all are only 3 years apart, and Nas is just like murdering you. You asked us to look up the stats, and here they are. Like Jim Jones, like you got a couple songs. I mean, like literally, it's a couple. But we're talking about Nas. Let me show y'all Nas's last projects. Nas been getting it in since 2018. Jimmy, when the last time you put out an album? Oh, would you look at that? You have been dropping music. You've really been dropping music.
But you know who really poured fuel on that fire? 50 Cent. He didn't just throw one jab at Jim, he went full 50 mode. Memes, old Dipset clips, and even a sharp line, Jim talking about nobody playing Nas, but when's the last time someone played We Fly High? That single remark set the internet ablaze. Fans flooded the comments, cracking up, saying, 50's back to his classic trolling. And if that wasn't enough, 50 went live at an event and doubled down. You can't talk down on Nas, man. That's one of them legends. You can't compare yourself to a god if you never even left Harlem. The crowd went wild. He even hinted that Jim's been chasing clout over creating music. He's on every podcast talking about someone else. Go drop a hit. What makes this even crazier is how personal it felt. 50 wasn't just defending Nas. He was throwing shots at Jim's whole credibility. The same guy who tried to reclaim the spotlight through interviews and podcasts now had his narrative flipped. 50 reminded everyone that Jim's biggest moments came from beef, not bars. And the fans? They were loving every second. Every meme, clip, and jab from 50 spread like wildfire. Because let's be real, when 50 steps into a beef, it instantly becomes must-watch entertainment.
I never got to, did I ever got to see Nas? I never got to sit down and have a conversation with Nas and things like that. I had called you about it and things like that. That was like, still one of the people that I never got to have a conversation throughout my history of rap and things like that. I think I would love to have a conversation with Nas. I wouldn't know if he knows it, but Nas was one of my all-time favorite rappers coming up and things like that.
I've heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that. Like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective before anybody.
But this isn't just about 50 Cent defending Nas. It's bigger. It's about respect for hip-hop and knowing who truly has the authority to speak on legends. Nas is one of those untouchable names. You don't diss him, you honor him. He's a cultural cornerstone, the blueprint for lyricism, business acumen, and evolution in the game. From Illmatic to KD3, Nas has kept his pen sharp and his craft relevant, all while aging gracefully in a culture that chews up the weak. So when Jim, an artist more recognized for his image than his discography, made those comments, it struck a nerve. Jim's no slouch, he's got hits, no question. But the delivery came off as jealousy, like he was trying to diminish greatness to make himself feel bigger. And 50, being the predator he is, sensed it immediately. That's what he does. He detects weakness and turns it into viral ammunition. And remember, 50 and Nas go way back. They came up around the same time in New York, and despite the ups and downs, there's mutual respect there. Nas even gave 50 a shout-out years ago as one of the few changing New York sound. So when Jim aimed at Nas, it wasn't just a diss toward a legend. It was a slight against the very foundation of old-school hip-hop, the groundwork built by artists like 50.
But remember, Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. Yes. So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation. No, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries and and I'm not taking nothing away from nobody. But I hear the comparisons and then be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this about the industry. I've been putting on.
The wildest part? Jim probably thought he was just being honest. But the way he delivered it came off bitter. This wasn't constructive critique, it was shade, and the fans weren't having it. Twitter lit up overnight with threads comparing Nas's accomplishments to Jim's: Grammys, platinum albums, business ventures, and cultural impact. By comparison, Jim's achievements started looking small. Then the think pieces dropped. Hip-hop journalists framed it as a generational respect issue. They argued Jim represents the social media era, where hype often outweighs bars, while Nas embodies artistry that stands the test of time. One article even noted, Jim Jones confused attention for relevance, a mistake legends never make. And 50 Cent? He kept fueling the fire. Every time Jim tried to clarify, 50 fired another jab. When Jim said, "I ain't mean no disrespect," 50 shot back, "You already did, homie. Now hold that L." Fans summed it up perfectly. 50 roasted Jim with humor, and there's nothing more dangerous than a troll armed with facts and charisma. So where does that leave Jim? Honestly, in a tough spot. Once 50 starts cooking, bouncing back clean is almost impossible. He's a master at making someone look foolish without even releasing a track. Now Jim's scrambling to explain himself, claiming he was just speaking his truth, but the damage is done. The culture sees it as another rapper talking slick to stay relevant, and 50 ensured that narrative stuck. 50's point went deeper than defending Nas. He reminded the world that true respect in hip-hop isn't about trends or clout, it's about legacy. He said it best on his live: Nas doesn't need constant rotation. He's already immortal. And that one line shut down Jim's whole argument. While Jim frets over who's hot today, Nas's name will still command respect decades from now. That's the difference between fleeting fame and timeless greatness. To make matters worse, Jim's remarks triggered a wave of OGs stepping in. Rappers like Styles P, Fat Joe, and even Busta Rhymes started dropping subliminal shots online, highlighting how disrespectful some of these new interviews had become. Fans immediately knew who was being referenced. It was like the legends had formed a protective circle, sending a clear message: disrespecting icons comes with consequences. Meanwhile, 50 Cent kept the pressure on. He shared a photo of Nas with the caption, "Still more relevant than the guy who said he wasn't." The comment section erupted, laughing emojis everywhere. Even Nas's fans chimed in, saying, "You can't diss a king when you're still chasing your throne." The situation perfectly illustrated the gap between rappers chasing headlines and those building lasting legacies. Jim may have been trying to make a point about today's scene, but he inadvertently reminded everyone that true legends don't fade, they evolve. And as for 50, he did exactly what he always does: defend his ground while roasting someone to oblivion. Jim Jones walked into that interview thinking it was casual conversation, but he walked out looking like another one of 50's viral punchlines. In hip-hop, disrespect spreads fast, but karma moves even faster. Now with the culture watching and 50's words echoing everywhere, Jim is learning the hard way: when you come for a legend like Nas, even 50 Cent might show up to bury you twice.